good morning, yogis. My name is Daniel with Daniel Lee Yoga, and thank you for joining me for practice today. Thank you for joining us because we have two special guests here today. First, Anna, and second, Thomas. They are a couple here from Germany and Ukraine that are staying here for a week or so, and we've just been having some fun today. Fun this week, just doing different activities together. And they volunteered themselves to be in class today. So I'm going to just give them an initial applause for their bravery to join us for class. And so just want to thank you all for joining. It's always great to have new students to teach because as we teach and we go through our all levels class, I can definitely get used to a certain cadence, and it's nice to teach either beginners or people that I haven't taught before because it gives me a way to just see different ways of how different bodies work and different minds and movements. So I want to appreciate you all for joining me for class today. Looks like we already have Lori saying hi. Good morning, Lori. And also Gail. Oh, hi, Gail. Nice to welcome you all to class. And so for today, it will be a 60-minute, all levels focused class. Definitely well-rounded, but I do have a little theme of arm and leg balances. What will come in handy today, if you have blocks, if you just have at least one block, it will come in handy. It's not totally necessary. If you don't have a block, either a sturdy book or even just a water bottle can help you in class today. Coney is saying hi. We'll see if his brother Oliver shows up. They always like to steal the show. Okay, so again, thank you for joining me. Feel free to follow along. It will be an all levels class, so yogis of any experience level will definitely get something out of class. Feel free to find the pace that works for you. And remember, while I am your teacher, you are your best instructor, so do what feels best for you. So, Anna, Thomas, thank you for joining me. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's start on our backs. So come onto your back with your knees bent and the bottom of your feet on the floor. So just starting like this. Have your shoulders in the back of your head on the mat and arms down by your sides. Okay. Now from here, we'll just begin with a little bit of breathing to help us transition into our practice. If you'd like, you can place one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart. Yeah, just that way you can kind of feel the movement of your chest and your stomach as you inhale and you exhale. So we'll take 2 or 3 minutes here as we start practice, just allowing us to focus on our breath. If you'd like, you can begin to gently close your eyes, or maybe just soften your gaze. Allowing yourself to bring the focus to your breath by beginning to observe without any judgment your normal breathing routine here. So perhaps starting by observing the length of your inhales compared to the length of your exhales. Noticing now one may be a little longer or shorter than the other. Any movement is totally fine. And then perhaps tuning your awareness in to how the air flows in and out of your body, perhaps through the nose or through the mouth. Just checking in and noticing, again, what's your normal breathing pattern? Taking some slow, deep inhales and exhales. And now with your hands on your belly and your chest, you can observe how when you inhale, your belly and chest rises. And on your exhale, collarbones, chest, and belly falls. Taking 2 to 3 more slow, deep breaths here on your own. One more breath here. All right, if your eyes were closed, you can gently start to blink your eyes open and just allow your hands to fall back down by the sides. Now keep your shoulders and the back of the head on the mat and draw your knees into your chest. Wrap your hands either around your shins or around your thighs. Remember to keep the back of your head and the shoulders on the mat and gently start to rock side to side. Just give your low back a little massage here. Just gentle movements, rocking side to side. And then coming back to stillness, keep hugging both knees into your chest. You can remember the back of your head on the mat. And then keep hugging the right knee in and extend the left leg straight out. Release that left heel to the mat. Holding here for a couple breaths. So as you hold here, and if you can lower your heel all the way to the mat, yep. And then let's flex the toes. So draw the toes back towards your face. Yes, on both feet. Good adjustment, both of you. And you can actually hover that left heel an inch or two off the mat. That starts to engage the abdominal muscles. So try to draw the belly in and down. And as you draw that right knee into your chest, the left heel extends out away from your body. So already creating length here in the spine. Holding for one more breath. And now let's switch. So draw the left knee in, right leg extends out. Same options as before. You can release the right heel to the mat or hover a couple inches off the ground. Draw the toes back towards your face. And as you draw that left knee in, extend out through that right heel. Holding here for 2 breaths. Try to keep the shoulders and the back of the head on the mat. Last breath. And now let's draw both knees into your chest. Hold here for a breath. And then release the feet on the mat. Keep the knees bent. And then draw the right knee into your chest. Open it out to the side. And right ankle on top of the left knee. So a figure 4 position. Now you can use your right hand to gently press the right thigh away. Just beginning to open the right hip here. If you'd like to advance, you can lift the left foot off the mat. Flex the left toes, and maybe you send your arms underneath and wrap around that left thigh. Just an option to advance here. Still try to keep the back of the head and the shoulders on the mat. One more breath. And let's gently release. Release that right foot to meet the left. We'll switch to the other side. So left knee draws in. Open the left knee out to the side. Left ankle, right knee. Gentle flex of that left foot, drawing the toes in. And then you can stay here, gently pressing with that left arm, or you can raise the left foot off, the right foot off the mat. Interlacing your fingers behind your right thigh. Just an option here. Still engaging the abdominal muscles by drawing the navel in and down. Trying to have as much of your spine on the mat here. Slow, deep breaths. And let's gently release. So release both feet back down to the mat. Let's draw both knees into your chest again. And then option to rock up and down your spine. So you'll cross one ankle on top of the other. Begin to straighten your legs. Tuck your chin to your chest. Hold on behind your thighs. And just roll up and down your spine a couple times. Keep that neck tucked to avoid hitting the back of your head when you roll back. And then eventually we'll roll up into a cross-legged seat when you're ready. Very nice. Love it. All right, let's release the arms down to the sides. Just a little bit of arm openers here. So on your inhale, bring the arms up overhead. Exhale, out and down, release back down to the mat. 3 more times, just like that. So inhale, arms up overhead. And exhale, release out and down. 2 more times. So inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, release. Last one. Inhale, arms out and up. And exhale, release. Moving right into a twist. So let's continue. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, turn to your right and release both arms to the outside of your right thigh. We'll start whichever side you want to start. So try to keep the spine nice and long. And so place your right hand, left knee. Yes, good adjustment, Anna. So we want to keep the spine nice and long. Initiate the twist from the navel up and the shoulders, and then the neck maybe looks behind. Hold here for one more breath. And let's inhale back to center, both arms overhead. Exhale, other side. Release into your twist. And keep that spine nice and long. Both sit bones are rooted. Right arm, left thigh. Or if you're the opposite side, either way. Nice elongation of the spine, starting from the center, moving up. Neck is the last thing to rotate for one more breath. Inhale, come back up to center, arms overhead. Keep the arms up overhead this time. Release one arm down to the side. Inhale, send that top arm up to the sky. Exhale, side bend. Now, keep your shoulders facing forward, so we're avoiding a twist, and keep both sit bones rooted. So if you feel like one sit bone's coming up, try to root it down. Yeah, so you may have to adjust here, keeping the bicep next to the ear. Feel a nice stretch in both sides of your body for one more breath. Let's inhale, come back up to center. Other side, to drop the opposite arm down. Take an inhale to prepare, lengthen through the spine. And exhale, side bend, other side. Holding here for 3 breaths. Again, remember to root down through those sit bones. Elongating through both sides of the body. Last breath here. And then inhale, come back up to center. And then exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Take 2 breaths here. We hope all of you who are joining us today are enjoying the sights and the sounds. You might hear some of the chickens and the roosters and the geese come through. It's all part of the experience. All right, we'll move now into tabletop. You can let your arms come forward, come onto your knees and your palms, or you can just shift your legs off to the side. We'll all meet in a tabletop position. So that's wrist under shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and then tops of the feet to the mat. So we're looking for these nice 90-degree angles here. And then knees and feet are hips width distance, arms are a little bit wider. So Anna, separate your knees a little bit more. Yeah, great adjustment. So we want our fingers to be nice and spread. Wrist creases are lined up with the parallel side of that front mat. So maybe Thomas, maybe externally rotate your wrist just slightly. Yes, good adjustment. Well done. Now pressing down through the base of each finger in each palm, gentle press of the tops of the feet into the mat, and draw the navel in and up. It doesn't look like much, but it can be a nice little stretch here. Now we'll move through our cow cat. So on your inhale, drop the navel, send the heart forward, look up. And on your exhale, round your back, shoulders separate, head hangs heavy, cat pose. 3 or 4 more times on your breath. So moving through, inhale through your cow. And exhale through your cat. 3 more times. Speaking of cat, hello, Coney. Always likes to show up. Use this as an opportunity to connect your breath to your movements. Nice, slow, and controlled movements here. Let's do one more sequence. Moving through your cow and then your cat. And then we'll finish back in tabletop where we started. And to Anna, maybe draw your hands back an inch or two so that they're directly underneath your shoulder. Yes, good adjustment. Okay, so now we'll extend the right leg back, keep the right toes on the mat, and then the opposite arm extends forward. Toes come onto the mat. I'm sorry, fingertips. Yes, now well done. So notice that our belly starts to drop. So try to draw the navel in and up to engage this core. Yes, good adjustment. And if you'd like, you can lift the right leg up, your back leg up, and lift the opposite arm up. Just an option if you'd like. Already starting with our balance here. This is a good leg and arm balance. Chin is slightly tucked, so gaze is up towards the top of your mat, keeping the spine nice and long. One more breath here. Gently release. Let's switch to the other side. So extend the opposite leg back, curl the toes under. Opposite arm extends forward. Toes and fingertips start on the mat, or take the option where you lift your leg, lift your arm. Keeping the bicep next to the ear if you can, so chin is slightly tucked, gaze is just at the top of your mat. One more breath. Gently release back into your tabletop. And then knees and the tops of the feet stay on the mat. Start to shift your hips back towards your heels. And we'll lift our torso up. So see how this feels. This can be a lot for some people. If you'd like, you can place blocks in between your thighs. Are you comfortable, Thomas? Anna, you're comfortable? Okay. Let's take a couple minutes just to work our wrists. So interlace the fingers, bring the wrists to touch, bring the elbows close together, and just start to make wrist circles. Always good to give some love and attention to the wrist. Let's slow it down, move in the opposite direction. Yeah. I always get a couple pops in my wrist sometimes during this. All right, slow it down. Remember which thumb is on top. Release the fingers, re-intersect, opposite thumb on top. Yes, probably is the way that feels pretty awkward. Wrists, elbows touch, and then gently start to rotate. And slow it down, move in the opposite direction. Hello, Ellen. Thank you for checking in as well. Always good to see you. And let's slow it down, release the fingers, come back into our tabletop. We'll step the right leg back, step the left leg back. In our plank pose for just a breath here. And then lift the hips up and back, come into our first downward facing dog. So since it's our first down dog, you can pedal out the legs. You can take your dog for a walk. You can maybe lift one leg, lift the other. And you always have the option, if down dog is too much, just to come back into tabletop, and you can pedal out your legs here as well. So just find movement that works for you for 2 to 3 more breaths. One more breath here. All right, let's gently come back to stillness. So in our down dog. Now let's inhale as we gaze forward, and then bend your knees. Exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Feet hips width distance. Stay in your forward fold. So you can have a slight bend in the knees. Let your arms fall down. Grab opposite elbows. And we'll come into Ragdoll Pose. So let the crown of the head draw down towards the mat. You can stay here in stillness, or if you'd like, you can gently sway from side to side. Again, knees can have a nice healthy bend here. And then switch whichever forearm is on top. So switch, grabbing the opposite elbows. Yeah, trying to balance both sides here. And then come back to stillness in the center. Release the arms down. And then we'll come up to standing, but nice and slow. So press down through your feet, spin the inner thighs in and back, and start to roll up your spine, stacking one vertebrae at a time, nice and slow. Chin is the last thing to arrive. Very nice. Once you come all the way up, let's inhale, lift those arms up overhead. Exhale, hands down through center and to the sides. 2 more times, just like that. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. 1 more time. Inhale, arms up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. All right. Join me at the top of your mat. So again, if you can walk to the top, Thomas, you're good right there. So feet are about hips width distance. You can always measure. If you bring two fists together, place them in between your knees or your feet. That's about hips width distance, yeah. Now checking in, arms down to the side, palms face forward, mountain pose. So feet want to be nice and parallel. So if you look at the outsides of your feet and draw a line, good adjustment. Thomas is slightly internally rotating. Maybe a little bit as well, Anna, if you turn the toes in other way. So keep the same distance. Yeah, so if you take two fists and place them in between your feet, you can measure about, yes, that's a good hips width distance. And then your feet look nice and parallel there. Great job. So arms down to the sides. Now try to draw your tailbone down, lift these frontal hip points up. So we're adjusting our pelvis here. We have a natural tilt to let it come forward, so we're trying to adjust that to keep our spine nice and neutral. Good adjustment. With the arms down to the side, try to broaden through the collarbones, but soften the shoulders away from the ears. Tadasana Pose. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. All right, let's start to add some movement. So press down through your feet. On your inhale, bring the arms out and up overhead. And on your exhale, come into a forward fold. So hinge forward, forward fold. Then on your inhale, place your hands to your shins, lift halfway so that your spine is nice and parallel to the floor. And then on your exhale, release back into your forward fold. Back up to standing, so press down through your feet. Keep a nice long spine and inhale, arms up overhead. Back up to standing, yep. And then exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Let's do that one more time. So inhale, bring the arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway, hands to the tops of the shins. And exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet. Inhale, back up to standing. Well done. And then exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Take 2 breaths here. One more breath. All right, let's add some more movement. So press down through your feet. Let's inhale, bring the arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway, nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. So from here, plant your palms, step both feet back into your plank pose. Now, holding our plank pose for 3 to 4 breaths, you always have the option if you'd like to drop your knees down. Otherwise, keep your knees up, drawing your heels back and down. See if you can separate your shoulder blades. And Thomas, see if you can externally rotate so the elbow creases start to face forward. Yeah, you'll kind of feel that in the outer upper arms, wrapping them in. Keep drawing the tailbone towards the backs of the heels for one more breath. Now we'll move through a vinyasa. So everyone drop down to your knees, nice and gentle. Keep the toes tucked. And we'll shift forward. So shift the torso forward. Bend the elbows so they bend backwards. And then lower your torso, hips all the way to the mat, all in one piece. Well done. Now bring the tops of your feet to the mat if they're not already. Press the tops of the feet down, hips down. Inhale, lift your head up, chest up. Baby Cobra. So keep the low rib tips on the mat. Elbows still draw back. Ankles draw in. Send the heart forward. Tailbone draws away from your body. And on your exhale, gently release. Forehead or nose back to the mat. Curl the toes back under. Keep the knees down. Press yourself up through knees down plank pose. And then lift your hips all the way up and back, downward facing dog. Stay for 3 breaths in your down dog. Let's stay, yep, for 3 breaths. So know that that movement that we just took was a vinyasa. If you prefer any other variation in class, you can take that. Otherwise, you can follow along with us as we develop and increase and adjust as we move through class. So one more breath in your down dog. Now let's inhale as you gaze forward. Bend your knees. Exhale, walk or step to the top of your mat. Feet hips width distance. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet. Inhale, arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Moving on, so press down through your feet. Inhale, arms out and up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. This time, plant your palms, keep your left foot forward, step your right leg back. So one leg forward, one leg back. Yeah, and see if your front foot can come a little closer up to the top. So we're in a low lunge. What we're looking for is the knee to be directly over the ankle. And then that back leg is stepping back. So see if you can, Anna, if you can have your arms closer to your, yes, there you go. So if you want to move up your mat, just so you're on your mat here. Yeah, so if you want to just come forward with everything, so your foot, yes, there you go. Good adjustment. Our low lunge here, we're just holding for 2 more breaths. You always have the option to drop down to your knee if you need to, keeping the back toe curled or uncurled. Let's add a little twist. So our right arm will come directly underneath our right shoulder, left arm out to the side. So left arm, yeah, other arm, other arm. Yes, there you go. So let's inhale to prepare. Exhale, add your twist. So fingertips come up to the sky. Remember, twisting from the navel up. Maybe you rotate that top palm to face forward. Good adjustment, Thomas. Allows more of an external opening in that shoulder for one more breath. Exhale and gently release. Now, curl the toes under if they're not already. Lift the knee up. Let's drop the heel down. Bring the left arm to the inside. And then we'll lift up into Warrior Two pose. So keeping that front knee bent, Anna. Yes. Now, setting up our foundation. The front toes face forward. Great job. Now, the back toes internally rotate just slightly. And what we're looking for is heel to arch alignment. So if you were to draw a line down, yes, good adjustment. It will intersect with the heel of the back foot. Great job, both of you. You already know. So we'll square our shoulders to the long edge side of the mat. Extend our arms out, and then turn your neck to look over those front fingertips. Yeah, you can give them a little wiggle. Let's add some movement. So on our inhale, straighten the front leg. Bring both arms overhead. Exhale, rebend, Warrior Two. 3 more times. Inhale. And exhale. Twice more. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, rebend. Last time. Inhale. And exhale. We'll reverse our warrior. Should drop the right arm down. Left arm comes up. Reverse your warrior just for a breath. And then spiral both arms forward and down. Come back into that low lunge. So pick up your back heel. Send the left foot to meet the right foot. We'll vinyasa through again. So drop our knees down. Shift forward. Bend the elbows back. Lower all the way to the mat. Bring the tops of the feet down. Press your feet down, hips down. Inhale, lift up into your baby cobra. You have the option to straighten your arms into full cobra. Still keeping the knees down, firming the ankles in. Shoulders draw away from those ears. Now bend the elbows back, lower all the way to the mat. Curl the toes under. Press yourself up through knees down plank pose. And then lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. We'll inhale as we gaze forward. Bend your knees. Exhale, walker step to the top of the mat. Inhale as you lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Back up to standing, so press down through your feet. Inhale, arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Take 2 breaths here before we move to the other side. Great job, both of you. 1 more breath. All right, let's inhale, bring the arms out and up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms. Step your opposite foot back. So we're coming into a low lunge on the opposite side. Taking a couple breaths here just to set up. Making sure both toes face forward and each foot is in its own lane. That gives you a little more balance here. You have the option to keep the knee up, or if you'd like, you can lower the knee onto the mat, your choice. So this time, left arm underneath the left shoulder, right arm out to the side. Take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, add your twist. Maybe you revolve so the right palm starts to face forward. Try to broaden through those collarbones, stacking one shoulder on top of the other. Hold here for one more breath. And exhale, release that arm back down to the mat. Curl the toes under, lift that knee up, and then drop the left heel down, setting up for a warrior two again. So right arm to the inside, press down through your feet, lifting up into warrior two. So let's take a couple moments to set up our foundation. Make sure those front toes are facing forward. Back leg slightly internally rotates, and we have that heel to arch alignment. You guys are already there. Great job. Now knee tracks over that ankle, and the front knee tracks towards the pinky side edge. So you firm this outer hip in, the knee tracking over. Extend the arms out wide with the shoulders facing the long edge side of the mat. And then turn your neck to look over those front fingertips. So stay where you are. So Anna, draw this knee towards the pinky side edge. Just stay right where you are. Yeah, great job. Good adjustment. So a little more bend here. And then firm this in, draw the knee out towards that. Yes, good job. Press down through that foot. All right, let's add our movement. So on your inhale, straighten the front leg, bring both arms overhead. Exhale, rebend, warrior two. 3 more times, inhale. And exhale. Twice more, inhale. Exhale. Last time, inhale. And exhale, warrior two. Reversing our warrior, so drop the right arm down, left arm up to the sky, other arm. There you go. Keeping that front knee bent if you can. So other side, Thomas, so drop your left arm down. Yep, right arm up to the sky. And then spiral, lifting both arms forward and up. Releasing both to either side, come into that low lunge again. Step the right foot to meet the back foot. Vinyasa through. So this time, if you want, keep your knees up. Shift forward. Bend your elbows back, lower all the way to the mat, all in one piece if you can. Yes. Now bring the tops of your feet down. Press your feet down, hips down. Inhale, lift into your back bend of choice. Baby Cobra or full Cobra. Firming those ankles in. Send the heart forward, chin slightly tucks. And gently release back down. Curl the toes under. Keep the knees down. Press yourself up, knees down, plank pose. And then lift the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Stay here for 2 to 3 breaths. Keep pressing the chest back towards the thighs. Ankles draw back and down. Keep firming those outer upper arms in, so even here the elbow creases start to face forward. For 1 more breath. And then inhale as you gaze forward. Bend your knees. Exhale, walker step to the top of the mat. And then inhale as you lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet. Inhale the arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Well done. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale. 1 more inhale. And exhale. All right, let's face the long edge side of your mat. Come into a wide-legged stance. Yes. So it's like we start here with our feet parallel, and then we just move them out a little bit wider. So keep the feet nice and parallel here. So see if you can draw your ankles out the other way. So yes, toes draw in a little more. Yes, great job. Start with your hands at your hips. Use your thumbs to draw the tailbone down, fingers to lift the frontal hip points up. So again, we're adjusting this normal tilt, trying to have a nice long spine here. Now adding a forward fold, pressing down through all 4 corners of the feet. Inhale, lift the arms out and up overhead. Keep a nice long spine, and on your exhale, shift forward, lowering into your forward fold. So this is where you can add your blocks if you'd like. So maybe lower your hands to your blocks. And so you can lower down. hands to the blocks, and make sure those blocks are underneath your shoulders, about shoulder width distance. Yeah. Now you'll shift more weight into the toes, but keep the heels on the mat. And if you like, you can allow yourself to fall a little deeper, slight tuck of the chin, let the crown of the head draw down towards the mat. Have your elbows bend back. Still firm the thighs in towards the midline. Hold for 2 breaths here. One more breath in your wide-legged forward fold. All right, slight bend in the knees. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale as you lift halfway. And then start to lift your torso up. Come back up to standing, nice and slow. All right, let's heel to those feet back into hips width distance. Back to the top of your mats. And so if you come to the top of your mats, face each other here, back to where we started. Yeah. And so you can face here. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. All right, now we'll move into chair pose. So feet hips width distance just as we start, arms down to the side. Now start by bending your knees and your arms come forward. Palms face each other. Yes. Now the ankles, knees, and hips stay all in one line, so you might feel your knees start to separate. Try to draw them back in. Maybe you can shift your hips back. If you gaze down, make sure you can see your toes. If not, try to send your hips back. Now biceps stay next to the ear, and we want a nice long spine, so draw those tailbones down towards the mat. Draw the navel in and up. Yes, good adjustment. Hold for 2 more breaths. One more breath. And then when you're ready, release into your forward fold. Just mind your partner right in front of you. And then inhale, lift halfway. And then exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms, step back into downward facing dog. So step both legs back, come right into down dog. And from here, we'll shift forward onto our knees. Drop to your knees. And now, in tabletop, we had our knees underneath our hips, but we want our knees to be a little bit farther back behind our hips. Yeah. So almost like a knees down plank pose. So shoulders stay over the wrists. So see if you can walk your knees back a little farther. Yes. That's a great job. Perfect. Just like that. Setting up for a modified Vashistasana. So how we'll do this is bring the tops of your feet to the mat. Now kickstand your right foot out to the side. Yes. Now curl the left toes under. Yeah, so one leg out to the side, then curl the left toes under, straighten the leg back, and then roll onto that right side, stacking the hips, stacking the shoulders. Yes, great job. Now try to lift the hips up to the sky and then send your left arm or your opposite arm up to the sky. Great job. So hold here for 3 breaths. Keep trying to lift up through the hips. Well done. Stacking one shoulder on top of the other, broadening through the collarbones. One more breath here. Exhale, release back down into your knees down plank pose, back to center. So bring your knees back, bring the tops of your feet back. We'll switch to the other side. So make sure your knees are farther behind your hips and then kickstand one foot out to the side. Curl the other toes under. Let the heel drop down. And then start to open, stacking your chest, stacking your hips, keeping your hand on your hip, or you can lift it up towards the sky. Hold here for 3 breaths. Keep trying to lift up through the hips. Yes, good adjustment, Thomas. And maybe that top arm revolves so the palm faces forward. So see if you can, Anna, rotate this arm so it revolves, so it faces forward. So the palm faces forward there. Oh, so you go, yes, there you go. Great job. That allows the shoulder to open for one more breath. And then let's release back down into our knees down plank pose. Curl the toes under, come right back up in a downward facing dog. All right, from our down dog, lift the right leg up and back to hip height. So we're balancing on our 2 arms and our left foot, right leg up. And then bend the right knee into your chest, step the right foot forward, come into that low lunge where we've been before. So both toes are facing forward. Yeah, take a moment to set up here. You have to keep inching those toes forward. Good job. Good adjustment. Now we'll come into a high lunge. So really press down through your feet and lift the arms up, lift the torso up. High lunge. From here, try to draw your right hip back, left hip draws forward. So the shoulders and the pelvis all face forward here. Press that left heel back and down. Try to lift up through the inner left thigh. Spiral it up towards the sky. Good lifting. Now fiercely try to lift these frontal hip points up. Good adjustment, Thomas, there. Well done. Hold for one more breath. Moving into a balanced pose. So bring your hands to the center of your chest. Shift forward 45 degrees, setting up for warrior three. Take a nice deep inhale to prepare. Exhale, you'll shift forward, lift that back leg up, parallel your back foot and your chest to the mat. Hold here for 3 to 4 breaths. This is where if you have your blocks, you can lower your hands to your blocks for balance. I know me walking around doesn't make your balance any easier. Just an option if you'd like. Keep flexing that back foot so the toes draw in. Yeah, you can do whatever you want with your arms. You can keep them at your chest. You can extend your arms forward. Keep trying to lift up through that back thigh. Great adjustment. For one more breath. And then release the back leg back down. Lift back up into your high lunge. Arms up overhead. Well done. And then spiral both arms forward and down. Send the right, bless you, send the right foot to meet the left foot. Come back into your plank pose. We'll vinyasa through. You can always skip it and come right to down dog. We'll keep our knees up, shift forward, bend the elbows, lower all the way to the mat. Bring the tops of the feet down, press your feet down, hips down, lift up into your back bend of choice. Baby Cobra, full Cobra. Or if you'd like, lift the knees off the mat into upward facing dog. Press the tops of the feet down. Yes, keep drawing the ankles in for one more breath. Exhale, gently release. Curl the toes under. Press up through knees down, plank pose. Lifting up all the way into downward facing dog. All right, we'll go right to the other side. So lifting the opposite leg, left leg up and back. Bend the left knee into your chest, step it up to the top of the mat. Take a couple steps if you need to. We'll move into that low lunge on that opposite side. Yes, there you go. Good adjustment, Anna. Make sure both toes are facing forward. They're each in their own lane. Really press down through the feet. And on your inhale, lift your torso up, arms up overhead. Hold here for a couple breaths. Keep drawing the left hip back, right hip forward so the hips and the pelvis face the front edge of your mat. You can give a nice little smile to your partner. Keep the biceps next to the ears. Keep lifting these frontal hip points up. Great adjustment. Drawing the tailbone down. And we know what's coming. So let's release the hands to the center. Shift forward 45 degrees. Take an inhale to prepare. And exhale, shift forward, lifting up that back leg. Keep the back toes flexed. Really press down through those big toes. Try to lift up through that inner right thigh. But drop the right hip down. See if you can drop that right hip down a little, Thomas. Yes, good adjustment. Very good. Do whatever you want with your arms. Keep them into your chest. You can extend the arms forward or release them to your blocks or to the mat. For one more breath in our warrior three pose. And then let's release the right foot down. And then lift the torso up, lift the arms up. Hands down through the center. Let's lift the arms out enough, back over. And then exhale, spiral both arms forward and down. Step both feet back into our plank pose. We'll drop the knees to the mat. Bring the tops of the feet to the mat. Shift our hips back to our heels. Hi, Coney. And we'll come into child's pose. So release your forehead to the mat, arms extend out nice and long. Come into your child's pose. If your forehead doesn't quite reach the mat, you can always place it on a block or roll up your mat. Option for your knees to be together or to the side. Just allow yourself to release here. Take 3 or 4 slow, deep breaths. Just taking a moment here to observe what you've built, just being grateful for showing up for practice today. And maybe you tried something new or redeveloped something you were familiar with. Just taking time to appreciate your presence. One more nice, slow, deep breath. All right, let's gently start to lift our forehead up, walk our hands back, send our legs off to the side, and then legs come out in front of you. Setting up for a forward fold. So before we even fold with our legs in front of us, see how it feels. If you feel like you're falling back and you can't quite keep yourself up nice and straight, you can place a block underneath your sit bones. You can roll up your mat. But if you feel nice and comfortable, let's start here. All right, so feet are flexed or about hips width distance. So draw the toes back towards your face. You can start with a slight bend in your knees. Let's do that. Let's start with a slight bend, but keep flexing the toes. Yes, good job. So inhale, bring the arms up overhead. Exhale, keep a nice long spine. Send your heart toward your toes. So keep that length. Release the arms down either to your feet or beside them. And then you can slightly tuck your chin, but try to keep your spine nice and long. So avoid over rounding here. Really send your heart towards your toes. And then if you'd like, you can start to wiggle your sit bones back to start to straighten your knees, or you can just stay there with your knees bent. Yeah, so you kind of wiggle back as you stay in your, yeah, just an option. This is great too if you have a strap or an old shirt, you can wrap it around your feet, grabbing opposite sides and using that to develop your forward fold here. Take 2 more breaths here. Last breath. All right, gently start to walk your hands back, lifting your torso back up. And then bend your knees, bring the bottoms of your feet together into a bound angle Badakanasana Pose. Now, your ankles can be as close to your hips or as far away. So some people like to be far out. Some people like to be a little bit closer. But yeah, you can wrap your hands around your shins or your feet. Try to open your feet out just to give a little more of an external rotation here. Option to stay here, or we'll add another forward fold. So inhale as you lengthen your heart to the sky. Keep that length on your exhale. Hinge forward at the hips. You can either walk your hands out or keep them wrapped underneath your legs, just adding a little bit of an external lever. As you go through this forward fold, try to draw the knees a little closer to the mat. Keeping a nice long spine. Coney's supervising here. For one more breath. And then inhale as you gently start to lift your torso back up. Bring your hands underneath your knees. Re-extend those feet. And we'll add a little twist. So start with your right knee. Draw your right knee into your chest. Now, option for a twist, we want the entire foot to be on the mat. It can be on the inside of the knee, or if you want to try the outside of the knee, you can try. Just make sure the entire foot is on the mat. If you kind of can't quite reach that, then bring it back to the inside. So see what works for you. Press down through that right big toe or left big toe there. Let's inhale, bring the left arm up. And exhale, twist over that knee. Release the arm behind you. And then use that opposite arm, elbow to knee, as an external lever. Keep both sit bones rooted. Great job. Spine nice and long. So root down through your sit bones, rise up through the crown of your head, and then add your twist. So twisting from the navel up, through the shoulders to the neck with the last thing to twist. One more breath here. Exhale, let's gently release back to center. So release the arms down, re-straighten both legs, maybe shake them out a little bit. Great job. Let's switch to the other side. So opposite knee draws into your chest. Same options as before, to the inside or to the outside of that knee. Press down through that big toe. Flex the other toes back toward your face. Inhale, bring that left arm or right arm up to the sky. And then exhale, twist over that knee. So Thomas, you would, okay, is that the way you did the first side? Yeah. Okay, that's fine. You're doing an open twist, which is fine, as long as we're doing both. So Thomas is demonstrating the open twist, where Anna is demonstrating the closed twist, which are both great twists to do. So I'm glad we are showing both examples here. Same thing for both sides. We'll press down through that big toe, flex the other toes back towards your face. Try to get a little lighter on that back hand. So use your abdominal muscles to keep yourself up nice and long. Good adjustment. One more breath here in your twist. And let's exhale as we release back to center. Re-extend both legs. Now, with your hands down by your side, bend your knees, send your hips up closer to your heels, and then we'll gently lower onto our back. So hold on either to your shins or your thighs, and try to lower onto your back as slow as you can. So you can either hold onto your shins, hold onto your thighs, or gently lower. Slow and controlled. All right, once you lower onto your back, bring your shoulders and the back of your head to the mat, arms down by the sides, and then walk your heels in closer to your hips so that your ankles are underneath your knees. We're still looking for about hips width distance apart, so maybe Thomas, separate your feet a little bit wider. Well done. Same thing, Anna, separate your feet a little bit wider. Yes, good adjustment. All right, setting up for bridge pose. So arms down by your sides, press the palms down into the mat. Take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, lift the hips up, pelvis up, chest up. Keep your shoulders and the back of your head on the mat. Keep lifting up through the hips, but spin the inner thighs in and down to keep the knees right above the ankles. Good adjustment, Thomas. If you want to add the arms, you can roll the triceps under, interlace the fingers underneath your back, just an option, and then bring the pinkies towards the mat, straightening the arms. Just an option. Maybe roll the triceps on a really good shoulder opener. Great job, both of you. Hold here for one more breath. And then gently release the arms out. Lower from the top of the spine, nice and slow. Middle of the back, and then low back last to arrive. So lower back down onto your back, nice and slow. So Anna, you can gently lower, nice and slow. Great job. Now bring the knees together to touch, and then separate the feet out wide. So knees together, and then feet wide. So Anna, see if you can separate your, yes, and then knees together. Yes, good job. This is our constructive rest. It allows the low back to release a little. And then extend your arms out to a T, palms face up. And then gently let your knees rock from side to side. So try to keep your feet where they are, and then knees rock from side to side. Coney's just saying hi to everyone. All right, and then the next time your knees are off to the right side, we'll stay here. We'll hold in a spinal twist. So your arms are out into a T shape with your knees off to the side. If you'd like, place your ankle, your right ankle on top of that left knee, just to deepen your twist here. Still keep the spine nice and long, and then you can turn your neck away from your knees, looking over your left fingertips. Full spinal twist here, holding for 3 to 4 slow, deep breaths. Just allowing gravity to do the work here. Trying to already melt into your mat, softening into any spaces that are still holding tension here. Last breath. All right, gaze comes back up to center. Release the ankle from on top of the knee. Bring your knees back up through center and we'll switch to the other side. So knees fall off to the left. Bring one ankle on top of that knee. And then you can turn your neck away from your knees, looking over the fingertips. Three to four slow, deep breaths here. Take one more breath. All right, gaze comes back up to center. Release the ankle from on top of the knee. Bring the knees back up to center and draw the knees into your chest this time again. Now, we'll wrap the left knee on top of the right knee. So wrap one knee on top of the other, just to your capacity. And you could stay here if you'd like. Maybe your arms can lift up, your chest lift up, your shoulder lifts up. Maybe you can grab opposite feet or opposite shins. Trying to draw the feet away from each other and then lowering your shoulders and the back of the head towards the mat. You might not quite reach, but we're just holding here for a breath, a little more of a hip opener. Keep the spine long, chin slightly tucked. And then gently release. Now we'll switch, so bring the opposite knee on top. Lifting your shoulders and the back of the head up. Maybe you grab opposite feet, flex those feet if you can. And then just try to lower your shoulders and the back of the head back down towards the mat. Might not quite reach, but you can tuck your chin to keep your spine long. Hold for one more breath. And exhale, gently release. Unwind your knees. Then separate your knees out wide. Bring the bottoms of your feet to face up towards the sky, flexing the feet. Happy baby pose. So option to either grab your thighs, grab your shins, or if you want, grab the outsides of your feet. Either way, you're drawing the knees down towards the mat. And you could stay here if you'd like to rock side to side. You can choose that option. Whatever works for you, try to keep your shoulders and the back of the head towards the mat. All right, and let's come back to center. Draw the knees back in toward your chest. Wrap your hands around your shins or your thighs. This time, lift your shoulders and the back of the head off the mat. Come into an egg shape. So we'll squeeze everything together. Squeeze as much as you can. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze for one more breath. And exhale, release. Extend the legs long. Extend the arms long overhead. Full body stretch here. So stretch, stretch, stretch for one last breath. And exhale, release. Keep the legs long. Extend the arms down by the sides. Palms face up. Let your knees and your feet fall out to the side. Settle into your final pose of practice, Shavasana. If you prefer any other variation for your final pose of practice, feel free to take that. Whatever works for you, just know that this is a time to settle, a time to find ease, and a time to find peace. Always have the option to soften your gaze or close your eyes completely. Just taking a moment here to notice any last little bits of tension in your body, allowing yourself to just soften, taking nice deep breaths and sending that breath to those areas of your body. Trying to relax your ankles and your knees and your hips. Soften any muscles in your face and around your jaw. Just allow yourself to be here. All right, and let's now begin to bring some awareness back into our bodies. You can start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rotate your wrists and your ankles. And switch directions in those rotations. And let's come back to stillness for one last breath here on our backs. And now softly draw the knees into your chest and then roll over to one side of your body. Taking a moment here on your side, let your knees stack, let your arms stack. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. Now use your top arm to press yourself up gently and slowly, and we'll come up into a cross-legged seat. We'll complete our practice here, so lift up into a comfortable cross-legged seat, ankles underneath the knees, rooting down through the sit bones. You can rest your palms on tops of your knees, palms can face up, or bring your hands into the center of your chest. Let's all take a nice deep inhale in together. Through the mouth, exhale. Thank you all so much for joining me and us for practice today. The light and love in me acknowledges and honors the light and love in each one of you. Thank you. Peace. Thank you again, Anna and Thomas, for being wonderful volunteer demonstrators. Thank you all so much for joining us on the live stream. I think we had Ellen, Gail, and Lori join in. So thank you all so much for signing in. On behalf of myself, Cody, Oliver, Anna, Thomas, we really appreciate you being here. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week. Again, if you ever have any questions, you can leave them in the chat, comment on the video description, or there's other ways of reaching out for me in the description as well. So thank you all so much. I hope you feel great. Any feedback, questions, just feel free to reach out to me. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day and your week. We thank you so much. Take care and peace. Yes. Thank you, guys. Yes.